I just let people talk. Good morning, Corona Days Professional Development Group. It's me, Danette Edwards.
Good morning.
And I'm here with Eb from Incluzion. She's going to tell us about Incluzion. I'm just going to give you guys a moment or two to jump in here. You know, guys know I'm doing this on StreamYard right now. So I just want to find it in the group before we begin in case I need to share it in the group, though it should be here. If I did everything right. Incluzion, she's going to tell us about Incluzion. I'm just going to, yep. So we are here. We definitely stream on YouTube. Okay, let's turn that off. StreamYard right now. So 1 second, let me stop that before we begin in case I need. All right, and we're in the group. Okay, guys, so we are. I can find it. We are here. We definitely. I still hear it. Okay, guys, give me a moment. Am I hearing your computer, Emily, or am I? Before we begin, in case I'm not right. I don't know why, guys. You know me, and we have 3 people watching, guys. You know how I do it. All right, I'm not hearing anything now. Okay, so I'm gonna start it over. Good morning, guys. This is Danette Edwards, founder of Corona Days Professional Development Group. You guys know I just started using StreamYard this year, 2021. I'm here with Eb from Incluzion, and I'm going to do our weekly review. But first, I'm going to ask Eb to introduce herself, tell us a little about Incluzion, and then I'm going to ask her a couple questions, and then we'll go ahead with our regular weekly review. So go ahead, Eb.
Hello. Thank you for having me, first off, because I know that Sunday mornings could be tied up with everything else of what you have planned for your current community. So thank you for including us with everything of what we do. So long story short, Incluzion is a community that caters to Black and Latinx professionals working remotely and flexibly. We have a jobs board, we have a freelance marketplace, we have an online learning portal. And one thing that I want to say that we don't just cater to tech, but, you know, we do have a lot of techies in the group and a whole lot of other stuff. So really, we have been banging things out since February of 2020 last year. Of course, COVID hit. You know, luckily we were already remote and, you know, doing everything as we needed to. And as we started rolling and ramping things up, our community grew from 227 in March to over 1,000 people by the end of 2020. Oh. So last year we rolled out, I would say maybe over 18 hours of live content. We are engaging with our community members as a group and individually. And everything else of what we've accomplished is just making sure that we are giving the customer experience. And I say customer experience because we serve our members from every avenue of what we can. Like if I need to jump on a phone call to talk about how the dog is doing, that's what we're doing to make sure our members are good. So that's Incluzion in a nutshell. I don't like to, you know, give we're a 5-page dissertation, but, you know, people can definitely check us out at incluzion.co if you want more information.
All right. Thank you, Eb. Can you tell us about the event that you guys have coming up? Is it this month or early next month?
It's starting February 4th. So we are doing Upskill 30. And upskill is a term that you would hear us use a lot because we are not just about helping people fine tune their hard skills, but definitely their soft skills. So Upskill 30 is definitely a mixture of both. We're going to be doing 30 hours of live content for free. And, you know, basically just alternating between the days of Thursday evenings and Saturday mornings, because some sessions do require for us to have 2 sessions, especially if it's hands-on training. But you'll learn more about yourself, whether if it's a communication assessment, a love language assessment, all the way down to how to identify your perfect client or how to generate lead magnets or become the expert in what you're the expert in. The goal of this is to really equip our members, whether if they are part of the community or even your members as well, to say, hey, you know, we got through the first month of January. Let's really buckle down. And over the time frame, I can tell you exactly from February 4th to April 15th, that's when we're going to be cranking out content. So we will be connected at the hip. You be spending a lot more time with me, which I don't mind. And we're just going to be learning and growing together. And that's one thing about inclusion. We don't ever profess to be the professors or the know-it-alls. Like, there will be days where we'll sit on the phone and I'll just tell you what I'm going through, because we're all human. And as we're still trying to walk in purpose and gain the knowledge that we need to, it's a matter of meeting people where they are and being okay with who we are.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, being okay with who we are. I think sometimes we're so worried about what we were before, right? Or who we were before, who we, this vision of ourselves that we had when we were 15, 20, and, now we're not there now.
Right.
Who we aren't and who we want to be, that we don't enjoy that moment, or actually not even to enjoy the moment, but, take the benefit of that moment, or saying, this is who and what I am now, and this is what I bring to the table, and this is what I can use to move forward. We just don't give ourselves that credit. So I love that, Eb. Let me ask you, so what is your role at Incluzion?
So I'm the COO. Once you get to know me, I am so not big on titles, because if marketing needs to get done because the marketing team is on a 5-month crew, guess who's jumping in to get marketing done? I am the COO. I'm also I call myself the engagement enthusiast. I'm very big on connecting. I'm very big on engagement and just making sure that our members are okay. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean that we always have to talk about business. We don't always have to talk about what happened on the resume or whatever else. We really want to know, not saying that we're trying to get in your business and ask you for your social security number, but what's really going on?
Mm-hmm.
What doubts did you have this week? What imposter syndrome episodes did you have? Or what happened when you were supposed to submit for the job, but because you kind of like dumbed yourself down, you didn't. And not to say that we would bash you over the head. I'll tell you this, I will be as sympathetic as I need to, but I'm not going to let you have any excuses.
All right. Now we need that. We need those accountability partners and those coaches. Yes. I know I need it. I was sharing last night in a clubhouse room how, there's so many things that I was going to do, business ideas, whatever the case may be, through the years. And for whatever reason, I just got stuck in something and didn't do it. And it was most likely stuck in doubt. Right. Stuck in, it's not going to work. It's not going to do, I'm not going to be able to do it. And when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, somebody who I told about it is now doing what I said.
Yeah.
Someone who I had mentored is now doing this thing. And I'm glad for them. I'm happy for them. But it then says to me, Danette, you could have done those things, So having somebody in our corner to actually not just encourage us, because I've had people encourage me through the years, but people hold me accountable for saying, okay, now what's next? What are you going to do to get there? What's the next step? So I really appreciate that. So let me ask you, with Incluzion, why are you doing it? What drove you there? Why? What's your why?
So my why is because I have to make sure that I touch as many people within their purpose journey before I leave this earth. That's honestly why. And, I'm coming out of a background of I would say I've been in corporate America since I was 14 and I just turned 40. So I left corporate America 4 years ago. So do the math. I was very fortunate growing up. My dad was always in IT. So all of the jobs that I had when I first started working, even in high school, was always in corporate. And, coming into this, married young, had kids young, divorced young. And again, still working corporate America, still trying to find yourself. And it's like, okay, what am I doing? So when you get to that point of what am I doing, it's not that you're just stopping there. It's what can you do to make sure that you're leaving your purpose imprint before you leave. And not everybody's meant for teaching other people how to see their vision, we all have different unique gifts. But my why is really making sure that everybody is okay with where they are within purpose. We think that we need to have all of these accolades, PhDs, and I'm not knocking that. But most of you that will learn to know me, I only have a high school diploma, but I run 2 businesses. I'm the CEO of my dad's, nonprofit. I'm the COO of Incluzion. And when Jabril, the CEO of Incluzion, we met on LinkedIn, something that I need to get back to because I am not I was never committed to LinkedIn. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, you have a message. All right, 3 days later. But Incluzion has definitely been forcing me to check my LinkedIn more so, because that's where our people live, you know. So connected with Jabril. And since then, you know, it's been running 10,000 miles an hour. And when we had the opportunity to grow the community, and we rolled out FlexCon as of last year, and FlexCon is something that we do as a digital mini conference for free. We invite people up to speak, you know, on StreamYard, just like we do now. And Jabril and I would have our powwow, so to speak, of maybe 30, 45 minutes of conversation. But we are recapping what the speakers are talking about, and we're asking people what they want to hear. And a lot of things of what we noticed last year is people wanting to know, how do they deal with insecurities? How do they deal with imposter syndrome? All of this stuff that's holding us back from our purpose or doing what we're supposed to do. Guaranteed, not everybody's meant to be a business owner, but everybody is a part of having a seat at the table.
Yes.
And once you know that you have your seat at the table, that's where I say all titles are thrown out the window. Because whatever table you're sitting at, you're sitting there because of its values. You're sitting there because of the people attached to it. You're sitting there because of how it makes you feel. And collectively, as a table or as a team, you're on this one big mission to accomplish whatever that is. And knowing that you have a part to, you know, help bring that accomplishment to fruition, you have to be okay with that. And this is why I tell people, you know, start with what you have in your hands. Start with what you can go to your kitchen cabinet and pull out. And then you may not be a baker, but you may have some skills in there on how to develop websites or, you know, fine-tune resumes. Whatever you have in there, put those ingredients together, make it work, and fine-tune it as much as you can. And best believe someone is going to be attracted to you because you're offering what's needed. And I know that goes way beyond the question you asked me.
No, I love it. I love it.
It is definitely where we have to be. We have to be servant leaders where we're willing to serve each other, not expect anything back, but expect that we'll do our best.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. And you said something that just I live by. So I always say, and it's on my Clubhouse, it's on my LinkedIn profile, that one of the things we do here, but it's one of the things that I've always said to people is, you have something in your hand right now.
Right.
You know, whether it could be not necessarily literally holding it, right? But you have something in your hand, your heart, your soul, your mind right now that you can use to recognize greatness. And oftentimes other people see that. They see what you have. And unfortunately, there are not enough people who see what you have and say, hey, let me help you nurture it, right?
Right.
Many people see it, maybe they fear it, or they're jealous of it or whatever. And so they work to dim that, right?
Right.
So I want everyone to know that you have something in your hand, your heart, your soul right now that can, in your mind, it's an idea, a concept, something that you can use to recognize greatness. And so I always work with that from someone. So I can see in people, oftentimes in the workspace, I always used to get the team that they say, oh, you're going to have to roll all of them out. You know, like I start, and that was one of my directives. Within the first 50 days, you're going to be reorging, you know, we know. And I turn that team around because I can find in each member something that if I pull that piece of greatness out of them and help them to see it, it helps their whole performance improve, right? And people say, well, how do you get that to happen? So that's what we do here. We help people, if they're not seeing it, we help them to recognize what they have in their hand right now to recognize greatness. So I love that you said that, Eb.
Yeah, and we actually have a segment, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to roll through the curriculum through my head. There is a segment specifically for what's in your hands, for people to be able to identify their skill set and also how they can use it to just embark on a journey of financial freedom, being happy. Like, we are so committed to the things that make us miserable. And I'm like, why?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Why?
Whew, God, you just said a word on a Sunday morning.
Yes, no one has told us that we have to stay there. So why? Like, we have the choice of moving forward. Now, you know, I believe in spiritual growth, mental growth, especially on the spiritual side. Like, To me, that is very, very important. But wherever somebody is, unless someone says you have to stay here, you still have the choice of making another decision.
Yes, yes, I love it. I love it. So our members in CDPD, we have our members do everything.
Mhm.
For the most part, many of our members are employed. So we're not
Okay.
necessarily unemployed, although we have members who are unemployed. I started the group to service marginalized and BIPOC individuals affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, serving people who are underemployed or unemployed. And I believe that most of our members are underemployed.
Definitely.
You know, why? You know why?
Mhm.
Underemployed. Many overeducated and underemployed. But if you remove underemployed and unemployed aside, one thing I know that I would say 99% of our members are is unfulfilled.
Okay.
And so unfulfilled and ready for some type of change. And it might be a drastic change. We have a member who did this, but I'll give her as an example. She was working in customer service and healthcare and said she wanted a career in tech and did that, high school diploma, self-taught tech, and did that. So we have people like that who want to make, and I call that a drastic change, right? Because you didn't study for that, you didn't go to school for it, and it's a drastic change. So in terms of inclusion, do you work with people who, I know a lot of inclusion, or most of inclusion, is geared toward tech, but do you find that you have members or people, clients who come to you and they're making that kind of a pivot from something that's totally non-tech, they don't come with the certifications and the experience, and can you speak a little about that, if that is something that you...
Yeah, definitely. So we definitely aren't geared towards, we do have a majority tech community, but we're not, and I want to make sure that everybody is not deterred by that, oh, you have to be a techie. No. By far, we have so many people that are still working a 9 to 5, are looking for, what you said, how do I become fulfilled? I've seen people that may have dealt in one arena, but then it's like, oh, I want to be a web designer. So I'm like, okay, let me teach you the skills on how to be a web designer without even learning how to code. It's just WordPress and a plugin. And we can sit there for 3 hours in one time, and I can teach you how to build a landing page. And you take those skills, fine tune it on your own, and flip it, and then go charge somebody else $150 for you to build the landing page for them.
All right.
And even with, and I'll use myself as an example, coming out of corporate America, it's one of those things of I had all these skills, but I had to look at what's in my hands. So it's like the easiest thing for me to do was become a virtual assistant. Why? Because I'm taking all of those skill sets that I learned from corporate America. It's not just about sending emails or whatever else. So then it's like, okay, what else did I teach myself over the years? I taught myself graphic design, web design, a whole lot of other stuff. So I was able to package that up and then market myself as a well-rounded virtual assistant. Let's just put that out there. So whoever is working a 9 to 5 and you want to make that drastic change, I would say do it. You may have to still work your 9 to 5 and learn how to do certain things because you want to, you need to make sure you have that income coming in. You need to make sure that you have whatever benefits you have in place. That is totally okay. But the moment you make that switch, don't ever think about going back. And the reason is because I can tell you, I got there. It's like I was straddling the fence. I was like, okay, I'm in corporate America, and not just in corporate America, I'm in leadership. I'm in leadership of managing a team of 15 people onshore, managing a team of 20 people in Chennai, India. And there was a click in my head, like, I don't want to do this anymore. And it was hard for me to come to work. It was hard for me to just be engaged. But the one thing that kept me engaged was my team, because there were plenty of team meetings where I sat here and I said, you don't belong here. If you want to go to Clown University because you want to become the best known clown, how do we get you there?
All right.
Believe me, I got in trouble for those conversations. But again, I would rather sacrifice just being right all the time, watching people being miserable. Like, why, especially if you're in a leadership position, why would you want to do that? So going back to your question, yes, we see a lot of people do that. We may not have all of the training to say, oh, we're going to teach you how to code, but we do have the resources and a lot of well-known people in our, community that does have access to those resources that may say, hey, I found this on YouTube, or I found this on Google, whatever. We share information. We don't keep it to ourselves. If it's someone that is wanting to go into the medical field, yeah, I'm going to say you're going to have to go to medical school because we can't do that. But if it's something to say, hey, I want to learn a side hustle, and, I have this word with hustle of, it's not always negative, but don't call it a side hustle if it's your passion.
All right.
Like, call it, this is what I want to do with my life. Call it, this is what I know that I'm going to leave my legacy with. Call it, this is my digital imprint for people to even know me or not know me, but the only thing that matter are the people who I'm serving. So whatever it is, believe me, if anybody wants to send me an email, technically my email is eb@incluzion.co, but we can definitely have a way of sitting through and analyzing what is it that you want to do. And that's why Upskill 30 is very important, because once anybody registers, you'll be put into an exclusive group on our community. It's not a Slack group. It is an actual learning portal group where you can, join the forums, ask questions. You will definitely get homework. I'm a person of, you're not just going to sit through this content and not do anything with it. You're going to sit through this content and mold it so it can fit you, so you can do what you need to do with it. And then from there, you may be like, you know what? I may want to do this, or I may want to do that. My goal is, how do we get you out of the rut? How do we get you moving? And how do we get to the point of, I may not be a millionaire, but I can sit at the table with a millionaire because I can do more than he does.
All right, now I love it. I love it, Eb. Martin Pratt is going to join us in a minute. I see he's here, but I don't see him sitting at his chair. So as soon as he sits in his chair, I will add him to this broadcast.
That'll work.
Yes, everyone in our group, they know Martin, they love him, but they don't know his role with Incluzion. So I'd like the two of you to just talk about that for a little bit. And I'll ask you. So I usually, if people come on, I ask some questions, but I won't ask you all of them. But I will ask you one. It's my favorite question to ask anyone who comes here. Eb, if you can, so you say you're 40. I don't usually ask the age. You are a beautiful 40.
Thank you.
40. If you were to go back, if you could wave a magic wand and go back into maybe 20 or whenever, at some point in your career, knowing what you know now, and if you could tap a younger Eb on the shoulder, what would you tell her about your career development journey? Anything. What advice would you give her?
So it's interesting you ask this question, because part of my coaching program, I have all of my coach members read Who's in Your Room. And I'll send you the link. Who's in Your Room is basically telling you that you have one door, one room. Whoever comes in can't come out. So however you deal with those people once they come in your room, it's really one of those things of how you formulate your life, how you create boundaries, and how you forgive yourself and also forgive others. So if I was to go back, I would literally tell my younger self to give myself grace.
Right.
I would also say to be more daring, because there were times where being married young and of course going through this whole thing of, I had kids from marriage, I got divorced, and it's like, oh, what are people going to think? I would also tell my younger self, don't care about what other people may think, because that's the first thing that holds us back, and especially when it's like, oh, I had to try to make things work or whatever else. But then honestly, if I was still married today, you and I would not be having this conversation. And no slight to anybody at all that is in a marriage or whatever else. Do I want to get remarried? Sure. But that's a whole different purpose and a whole different vision for my second marriage if I was to ever get married again. And the last thing that I would say is, don't ever feel as if I have to compromise myself to make everybody else happy. Because that's what I did. I mean, as a mother, you would sacrifice a whole lot. But to me, that's the extent of sacrifices versus sacrificing for grown people that don't even care about your value.
And you
have to spend the next 10 years trying to gain that value back because of boundaries you did not have in place.
Gosh, you are really saying a word this morning. Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
Mr. Pratt has sat down in his seat, so I'm going to add him. All right. All right now. Are you with us, Mr.
Good
Pratt?
morning, Martin.
Namaste.
So, Mr. Pratt, we know you here, so you don't have to give us your bio, but can you tell us about your work with Incluzion?
Sorry,
That's
I have
okay.
a
I know
whole.
you got a bunch going on.
I have sound effects set up
Oh,
for
all right.
different. When Eb said her, if she gets married again, this was a sound effect for that.
Oh, all right. Play that again.
Right.
I'm trying to bring sound to everything.
I at least know
Love
you
it.
can do at my wedding.
I'm creating a new vertical. The Clubhouse virtual sound effects DJ.
You know what? You will make so many people happy with that.
What was the question today? Because I'm getting ready to go off.
Okay, all right. I know it's
Let
Thursday
me get back to the
morning.
question.
So the question is, so Eb told us a bunch about inclusion, and we're all loving it. I have great comments here, Eb. I don't know if you can see them, but what is your role, Mr. Pratt? We know you. We know you wear many hats, and we know you're an active CDPD member. But what's your role with inclusion?
Well, I guess that I was given a new title because I came on marketing strategist, but I saw an internal document say I'm the head of marketing. So,
all right. Oh, you got a promotion.
Thank you, COO, for my promotion. No, I'm really engaged to widen the flow of the creative assets that we have, and then also specifically while I'm having this conversation with you guys, I'm on stage in a room on Clubhouse as a moderator for Black LinkedIn. So I'm considered one of the folks that's integral to what Black people are talking about on LinkedIn. I'm helping Black people onboard properly into LinkedIn, and then hopefully solving some of the problems that, as you know, the United States now wants to have these tough conversations. As Black professionals do have those conversations on LinkedIn, what will happen to their profiles and what will happen to the content that they post. So pulling that all together for specifically inclusion, I'm super excited to be able to offer Black and brown people the opportunity to find full-time employment that has benefits that they can do remotely. And so I don't think remote work is going away. In fact, I think that it's more of a permanent vertical and within employment, especially since there are a few devices that can kill COVID in the air that are being played around with right now. But, as we not go back to everything else is opening, but you don't hear nobody complaining about WeWork not opening or any other co-working space. So it's going to be, a while before we have that office interaction. So this looks like, for what I'm concerned, this looks like the future, being at home and then developing that home office. So inclusion for me is a multi-layered thing. Got to get the job. But then after the job, you need another level of soft skills. And then as the soft skills go and you start to rise in the company, you need to find a mentor, a professional mentor, someone who's in the C-suite, maybe not at your company, but another company. And that's where LinkedIn comes in, but that's also where inclusion comes in. And so the value prop for me as inclusion is it gets higher and higher as you go higher and higher. So I'm excited by the opportunities. And I think we're we the only job board or job site that has its own club on Clubhouse. So I know we're going to be leading that charge in this area.
Well, not only that, we have literally created our own conglomerate. Let's put it that way. We have a membership, which is free. So we have a community of members. We have a job board. We have a freelance marketplace that is literally blackfiverr.com. And we also have our own learning platform. And part of the goal is not to just, I see Tia's question of upskilling. So Tia, really quick, upskilling is definitely helping you take your soft skills to a different level. Definitely helping you taking part of your hard skills to a different level, but teaching you how to be your best version of you. So you can go to the table and say, this is what I'm worth. And again, as we go through Upskill 30, there's going to be a lot of aha moments. There's going to be times that you don't like me. because I'll be pushing some buttons where you have to go back and look at yourself to figure out, why is this not working? We may think that our personal and professional do not cross over. It does. If our personal is jacked up, we can put up the facade all we want with all the money we have in a bank account, with everything that we have, with Prada bags, whatever, but you're still miserable. But going back to the conglomerate of inclusion, we want to create not just purpose freedom, but also financial freedom for everybody that crossed our path. So that's why we have been going so hard with putting in place the things that we put in place. And the remote jobs board, we're not, accepting jobs that people want to pay $7.25 an hour. We're like, no, our people are worth more than this.
All right.
And luckily, people that do come to the table do see the worth of our members. And you don't necessarily have to be, all giddy in the community to be a part of the remote jobs board. We would want you to be, engaging in all this other stuff. But if your reality right now is, I need a job, go to the remote jobs board and put your resume out there, create a profile. If you have low-hanging fruit that you can create money right now by building a website, proofreading papers, or even book editing, because I'm going to need some book editors for my company because we're about to roll out another service, sign up on Black Fiverr. Like, we are literally wanting to give you every opportunity and every ways of stepping up or upskilling to show that you can have a seat at the table.
I love it. So, all right. So I can join your community. So, okay. On February 4th, I can go to Upskill 30, right? That's it. Upskill 30.
Yes.
So I can go to Upskill 30. I can learn some things, right? I can join your community. I can not just review the postings on the job board, but post my resume, right? Then I can take some of that stuff that you guys gave me in Upskill 30, right? Helping me to recognize what I have in my hand and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I can go ahead and register for blackfiverr.com all with you.
Yes.
And post up on blackfiverr.com. So while I say I get my remote job, because I posted or I saw a posting, I can also post my services. So I can get 2 streams of income potentially. Then I can stay in the community and continue to gain resources and knowledge, right? I have access to people like Martin Pratt, who is a LinkedIn phenom, right? And he is working on increasing the resources for Black folk on LinkedIn, and he can potentially help me to find a mentor just by accessing his profile on LinkedIn and his platform, right? So, okay, so I love it. Oh, but wait a minute, Mr. Pratt, you left one thing out. So all that you guys are doing, we also have Career Mentor Days, DAZE, all right, on Clubhouse, and you can come and be a mentor for 20 minutes by sharing your knowledge and advice, right? Or you can say, you know what, I want to be a mentor longer. I want to find a mentee. Or you can be someone who is looking for a mentor, and you can find one at Career Mentor Days, DAZE Clubhouse. And it could be a one and done. It could be, I just want to share some information today, or I want to connect with a mentor or mentee long term, and you can come and do that. So I love this. I really, really love it. I am going to, okay, I don't have any more questions. I have a bunch of comments. I really love that you guys came here this morning. This was so ad hoc. I've posted in the group everything, and I will be following. Actually, I'm going to post, if you send me a visual for the inclusion event.
Okay, definitely.
So, so that, because I'll post it as an event in our group along with the link, right? Because then it'll be on people's calendars. Yeah, of course, I want everybody to win. Plus, I want our members to benefit from this. I believe in what you're doing. I see the value in it, and I want our members to know that. So, I'll ask if either of you have any final words for us. I really thank you and appreciate you for coming out this morning. I'm going to check the Facebook, see if we have any questions while you guys are giving us your finals.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, you can definitely sign me up as a mentor. Just throw me in wherever you see need. And the last thing that I need to say is 30 hours invest in yourself. even if it's just, hey, I'm gonna jump in and I'm not gonna call you out, but I really want you to invest in yourself. 30 hours of investment can be a lifetime of change.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And when we talk about, 21 days into a habit, 90 days into lifestyle, just start with 30 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Just take it bit by bit. Don't feel as if you have to bite off the whole steak when you just need the chicken nuggets right now.
Well, I can tell you this, Eb and Martin, I'm going to register myself. So yeah, I'm going to register myself. I need a whole lot of help too. I'm out here helping everybody, but I am not where I need to be. So I'm going to go ahead and register myself. So CDPD, I'm not putting this out here and saying, oh no, you do it. I'm going to do it as well. And then I'm going to, after the 30 hours, I'm going to host some chat in here and in Clubhouse about the experience and inclusion with the Upskill 30. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you. We would love to have you.
Mm-hmm. And then, you're always welcome, Ed. Well, Martin knows you're always welcome. Jump in, or if you want to host the room with me, on Clubhouse, come on in.
Oh, that'll be a day conversation.
Yes. And then Mr. Pratt, final words about inclusion.
Just go ahead and go to inclusion.co. That's it.
All right.
Follow the hashtag inclusion.
Right.
With a Z.
Sunday morning, huh? Well, I appreciate you both.
And thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank
you for coming. Thank you for coming. I want to amplify everybody's voice, and people are doing amazing work right now, and I want our members to tap in. So thank you all. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys, but CDPD, stick around because I do have the AM review coming up. Thank you both for coming out.
Thank you.
I appreciate you both, and we will stay connected. You know that.
Definitely. Have a good one.
You too. All right, Martin Pratt.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, CDPD crew, I'm still with you. I dropped a bunch of links about inclusion. Definitely, register for the Upskill 30 and definitely join the community. Take a look. I am going to register for the Upskill 30 myself, and I'll share whatever information that I can about that. We can share together. So go ahead out yourselves and take advantage of that. All right, so it's our weekly review. I'm going to share some screen here with you. And you guys know I have just started this thing with, all right, you guys know I don't really know what I'm doing here. So I'm sharing screen, and I want to share our Facebook page. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I was trying to share screen and cut it off. All right, give me a moment. Let me figure out what I'm doing. You guys know how I do. All right, so I want to share screen. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, guys. Cancel. All right, I'm trying to share. Whoo, I'm trying to share the screen because I want to show you guys my Facebook. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to test this thing out more because I don't know what the hell I just did. All right, so let me just go ahead, the weekly review. I was trying to share screens to show you guys what we have coming up in the group. And for some reason, every time I hit share screen, I'm sharing only my, I don't know what I did, guys. So I'm going to have to test it out. So let me just give you the quick review. And it just has to be me and you because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to have to test it out. let me try one more. So if I hit share screen, it's only giving me the option to share my StreamYard stream. And I don't want to share that. I want to share my Facebook. All right. Anybody know how to do this? After I finish this live, you guys will tell me. So let me just go ahead because it's not working. So guys, you know, this is our first live for the year, I believe, because I took off. So couple things this week we have coming up. Shara Ruffin is going to come up and she's going to give us her pandemic story. You know what? I'm going to end this because I need to share my screen, guys. Give me a moment. I'm going to jump in on Zoom because I can't do this. I need to show you guys some stuff. All right, just bear with me. I'm going to end this now and then I'm going to jump in on a regular Zoom. Y'all know I need to learn some stuff. All right, I love you guys. Thank you for joining, but please jump back in. I see it's about 6 of you out there. Jump back in a moment. I'm going to come in through Zoom. All right.